With all the problems over there, are we missing an even bigger problem right here? Hello, everyone. I'm Charles Payne, in for Neil Cavuto. To the growing risk from this growing number, the Independent Congressional Budget Office warning a new fiscal crisis is coming if Washington doesn't get its spending in check. Time for politicians to wake up. Cassandra Smith, Charlie Gasparino, along with Adam Lashinsky and Gary Kaufbaum, Ben Stein and Dagan McDowell will be back next week. Gary K., just how serious is this?
Well, they say a crisis is coming, but I say it's here. Look, when you have $17.6 trillion in debt, $55,000 every citizen, and $155,000 for every taxpayer, we're talking some serious bucks here. This affects flexibility. If we have another 07 or 08, where are we going to get the money to use? We're already being talked about. We can't fix roads and bridges. This is a big problem, and it's only getting worse with the legacy costs coming down the pike.
You know, Sandra, here's the thing. It just feels like a couple of years ago, everyone was up in arms when our debt was 14, 15 trillion. Have we gotten to the point where, you know, we're so sanguine about it that we don't realize that it's not just an economic problem, it's a national security problem.
And it's just weakening our stance globally by the minute. The more interest rate payments that we have. I mean, when you look at the Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid costs, right now they account for 7% of our GDP. The CBO is projecting that that's going to double to 14%.
The point is, Charlie, and this is what low interest rates, by the way, this makes us an unstable nation.
No, it doesn't. We are not in a crisis right now. Listen, I don't.
When do we get in a crisis? Just give me a number.
Who knows? But let me.
But it's more than 17 trillion.
Let me make this point. I am against the fact that we are borrowing to have fun now, so our kids have to pay in the future. That's a real travesty. This is at some point going to be a problem, but everyone here that's sitting here saying we're in a crisis, that the world is coming to an end, they're wrong. People are buying our debt for a reason. They like the United States of America. I'm not saying it's good, but we are not in a crisis. We are in a crisis for many other reasons, including a lousy president. But for you to say that we're in a crisis now is absurd. It violates every tenet of economic rationale.
No, it doesn't. All right, Adam, I want to go to you because do we wait for the crisis number? Since Charlie can't give me the exact number,
who can?
It's not 17 trillion. Do we wait till we get there? Because at that point, there's no turning back.
So I happen to agree 100% with Charlie, and here's the good news. We're not in a crisis, and we know exactly what needs to be done. And basically what needs to be done, and Sandra touched on this, is entitlement reform. And we know that that's really the only thing that has to be done.
And it's so easy,
we can do that.
It's
Hold on, it's a political problem, and here's the really good news. This is a very difficult time in the world, and the good news is that our problems in the United States are not nearly what the rest of the world faces in their horrible problems. We can do this. We can fix Social Security. We can fix Medicare, but it's going to take some political will, and the good news is, Charles, we have time.
You know, here's the bad news. We are walking past this thing, whistling past the graveyard, Adam. Gary, I want to go to you because, listen, no one's saying we're going to fall off a cliff tomorrow, but the idea that we just keep ignoring this and that one day we can flip a switch and fix it is absurd.
Just look at the little ticking clock on a daily basis, my friend. Look, I read last week that the reason why the 10-year is down to 2.5% is China's buying the living daylights out of it. This is about national security. If we keep owing all these other countries, if we keep owing all these countries, we have to deal with them. When we have to deal, hold on one second. When we have to deal with them going forward, we lose a ton of leverage, a ton of flexibility, and the problem is it never ends. When you keep saying about no crisis, all I know is no.
Gary, there's a reason why the world is buying our debt. We may be the tallest midget in the room.
Well, we know we're selling the debt, though. Charlie, this is what I want to get to.
100% right about that.
I'm not worried about who's buying it. I'm worried about the fact that we're selling it. What numbers do we get to?
First off, Charles, you're looking at that number wrong. You're not supposed to look at the overall debt. You're supposed to look at the overall debt in terms of our GDP.
Which is supposed to be 106% in the next 25 years.
I'm not saying it's good, but what I'm telling you right now is that we are not in a crisis. You cannot give me one economic indicator right now that says we're in a crisis where the dollar is going to implode. By the way, people
look at the U.S. dollar itself. The U.S. dollar is in the toilet for years.
In the toilet?
What kind of buying power do we have with our greenback right now?
Really? We can't buy stuff?
Well, look at the price of oil. Why do you think oil's over $100 a barrel? Because of the devaluing of the U.S. dollar.
Why are we paying $3.50 for gas? Is that a lot of money?
Oh, you're nuts.
You're nuts. What economy?
He's right. It's not a lot of money.
What do you think these assets are denominated in? The U.S. dollar.
With all due respect, are you telling me people can't afford gasoline right now?
No, absolutely. You're reading this the wrong way.
Hold on one second, Charlie.
That's an obvious
I'm going to bring Adam back in because, Adam, Here's the thing. To me, the big number right now is $17 trillion, along with some of these other unfunded liabilities that Sandra brought up earlier in the show. So cumulatively, the number's outrageous. We couldn't fit it on the screen if we used the smallest font possible. Right. That should be a yellow, if not red flag. Don't you think we can be too confident about the fact that we're the only game in town right now?
Sure. No, I mean, we should never be too confident about anything. And I think, I think you made that point well at the outset, which is that this certainly is a problem. It certainly could come due and will come due. But I want to point out, we made it through a terrible financial crisis that was the second worst crisis since the Great Depression.
In part by using more debt, right? In part by printing more money.
And we made it through fine. The U.S. economy is sound. Could it be better?
Charles,
absolutely.
Charles,
should we address this?
I'm sure the people on this panel, Sandra included, have been talking about the implosion of the dollar and that the economy was going to go, that we're going to have massive inflation ever since the Fed started printing money. And guess what? It's not happening.
But it's easy for you to talk about. It's easy for you to talk about the strength of the U.S. consumer buying power when you make money like you do, Charlie.
Sandra, it is not.
I'm going to bring in Gary Kay because Gary Kay. Here's the thing: we've all been talking about it, but we're all relatively young. I mean, the sense that it hasn't happened yet, so it won't ever happen, is kind of nuts.
We're not saying that, though.
All right, Gary Kay, your point.
Look, let me just say this. We're talking about, the economy's better. It's on the back of another $6 or $7 trillion in debt. It's on the back of the Fed printing $4 trillion. Just remember one thing. They've manipulated interest rates down to where they are right now. What if they lose control of interest rates? The cost of that debt's going to skyrocket, and then doubly look out. I'm just worried.
Which is why they've signaled.
I don't know what date it is. I don't know what number it's going to be. All I know is debt has always killed countries longer term.
But Gary, I mean, your points are valid, but you're looking at it through a cup half empty. The cup half full is they managed the crisis, and furthermore, they've signaled very clearly they intend to reverse course. This is great news. We're on the right track.
I don't know if we're on the right track, Adam, but I will say this. The solutions are there, okay? And the people that are running around saying that the world is coming to an end,
Charlie,
the solutions are there. It takes some political will.
Right.
It takes the American people, by the way, Charles, to vote one party in office. Because the American people,
I'm going to bring Sandra in on this. I'm talking about your topic.
It's a political problem. The American people
But here's the thing, though, Sandra.
Won't fess up to.
If we can't make the sacrifices now,
who's we?
You just said the American people.
They don't
refuse to do it.
Here, if it can't be done now, why would it be done later?
That's the problem, and that's what I want to say, Charlie. You think the crisis doesn't come till we can't make payments on our interest, okay? I say the crisis is now when we have the interest payments that we have. When is that going to happen? The dollars are going. Listen, if I'm $20,000 in credit card debt right now, my credit score is still good. I can go get another loan. Guess what? I'm in a crisis now. If I lose my job, we're not prepared for an emergency, Charlie.
We fought a second world war with massive amounts of debt, and we got out of it through planning and through a growing economy. That's what does it. When you grow the economy, it does it. And by the way, if the world was coming into an end, the lights would be off right now. We wouldn't be doing this.
We are spending so much money. We are borrowing so much money, and we have no political will. If we make this an emergency after it's too late, then we're all in a lot of trouble.
That's true, but don't run around saying the world's coming to an end. It's not.
No, but our job is to inform people, and I think the audience, they'll weigh in. But I think it's pretty clear. Everyone agrees it's a problem. We may disagree on when we should be
party at Charlie's house.